Hey there, my friend. Have you ever wondered how the pyramids were built? Tonight, I'll take you on a very special journey. A trip back in time, to the golden winds of the ancient Egyptian desert, to the hands that shaped one of the greatest wonders of the world, the pyramids. Let your mind relax. Close your eyes, if you like. Take a deep breath in, and let's begin. Around 4,500 years ago, in a sun-drenched land called Egypt, a mighty civilization flourished along the Great Nile River. The ancient Egyptians weren't just skilled farmers, they were astronomers, mathematicians, and builders. But more than anything, they believed one powerful truth: death was not the end, but a new beginning. And so, when a pharaoh, a king, passed away, his people built him a resting place like no other. A structure to protect his body and treasures for eternity. A doorway to the next life. That's how the idea of the pyramid was born. Massive stones, carefully placed, each one a silent prayer, a piece of something much greater than ourselves. A pyramid could not be built just anywhere. The Egyptians chose the west side of the Nile, where the sun set, symbolic of the journey into the afterlife. The ground had to be solid, stable, close to the river for easy transportation, and most of open to the sky so the stars could watch over it. Pharaoh Khufu, who ruled around 2600 BCE, selected a site called Giza, a high plateau not far from today's Cairo. There, he commanded the building of what would become the Great Pyramid, the largest structure ever built by human hands. Architects began their work. A perfect square base, 4 sides pointing exactly north, south, east, and west. Every angle, every slope, carefully calculated, not with machines, but with wisdom and the stars. You might imagine thousands of slaves pulling stones under a blazing sun. But that's not what modern archaeologists believe. The pyramid builders were not slaves. They were skilled workers and farmers, working during the Nile's flood season when their fields were underwater. Around 20,000 to 30,000 people helped build the Great Pyramid. They lived in nearby camps with food, water, and even medical care provided by the state. With tools made from copper, wood, and stone, they shaped limestone and granite. No cranes, no machines. Just ramps, ropes, and human willpower. The stones came from many places. White limestone from Tura for the smooth outer casing. Red granite from Aswan over 500 miles away for the inner chambers. Basalt, quartz, and other stones for floors and inner structures. Each block was hand-carved, pulled on sleds, and transported across the desert. To reduce friction, they poured water on the sand before dragging. Dozens, sometimes hundreds, of workers pulled together, up long earthen ramps that spiraled around the growing pyramid, from bottom to top, stone by stone. Each one a story, each one a breath of human effort. The pyramids weren't hollow. Inside was a labyrinth of corridors, chambers, hidden passages, and traps. The main burial chamber was often placed in the center or even higher. Here lay the king's chamber, holding a giant sarcophagus carved from a single stone. There was also a queen's chamber, though it didn't actually hold queens, likely for statues or ritual objects. Tiny air shafts led outside, perhaps, to let the spirit rise to the stars. Doors were hidden. Some stones were meant to fall and block intruders. Even so, most pyramids were robbed over time, and many secrets were lost, swallowed by the sand and silence. The Egyptians believed that after death, the soul had to pass many trials through fires, waters, and judgment. If it passed, it would live forever in the field of reeds, beside the god Osiris. The pyramid was a portal, a bridge between this world and the next. It stood for immortality, for faith, for something greater than the present. A message carved in stone. We were here, we believed, and we dreamed beyond death. Even now, thousands of years later, the pyramid remains. Time may pass, kingdoms may fall, but those stones, they still whisper. As the sun sets behind the pyramids of Giza, the desert glows with ancient gold. Shadows grow long across the sand, and if you listen closely, you might hear the echoes of the builders, the steady rhythm of hands pulling stone, the songs they sang to pass the time. The breath of wind through halls no longer walked. They built not just for the dead, but for memory. They built to tell the world that with unity, with belief, and with heart, even the impossible becomes real. That's the end of our story tonight. Thank you for staying with me until the very last moments. I hope this journey brought you peace and a little wonder to carry into your dreams. Sleep well, and I'll meet you again in the next story.